Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul. How's it going?
Not too bad, my friend. There's been an interesting there's stuff in the news about presidents and elections and all that stuff. So, as our little contribution to keeping people sane, look, whether your side won or your side lost, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the real important presidents. Those would be the fictional ones in movies. So we put together a list. We're going to rank movie presidents, and none of them, even if they bear some similarity in some way to a real person, none of this is political commentary or content. Okay, in fact, I'm gonna spoil it ahead of time. One of them is even a vampire hunter.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have some fun with this. I would love to see people in the comments just absolutely go bananas with where you'd like the president we're talking about, higher or lower. We'll try and not ignore anybody. So, Paul, let's both try and keep an eye on the comments. And with that said, Paul,
Indeed.
will we jump right into it with our first president?
Yes.
The,
Yes, we shall.
the greatest president of them all, perhaps, is where we're starting. And that is with, can you give the full name for President Camacho from Idiocracy?
Uh, Dwayne Elzondo Mountain Dew Herbert, which the Herbert really makes the name, I think.
Yeah.
Really brings everything together.
And I do love that they went for, Dwayne Alzondo Mountain Dew. They didn't even use, what has electrolytes in it again, Paul, in the movie? Brondo. Brondo.
Brondo. Yeah.
Because it has electrolytes.
It has electrolyte. And
Um,
electrolyte is what you need.
I
Has
love that
everything you
impression.
need.
For anybody who hasn't seen this movie, go and see it. Please go and see Idiocracy. And when I say go and see it, find it on your streaming service or at your nearest YouTube opportunity for rent. Um, Terry Crews played what can only be called a monster truck loving, super V8 motor trike driving ex wrestler lunatic. But Paul, he
Yeah.
wasn't a bad president, all things considered.
It is weird to say. So idiocracy is essentially about the reducing of essentially intelligence in the general public, and this is the president of America. Um, he's actually a good president because
Yeah, and I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get him off screen, and we're gonna start sliding him around as you talk.
so this is the thing. I don't think he's a D president.
He's definitely not the
Uh,
bottom. No.
I
He's
I don't know if he's an S president. So
yeah. It's,
but
it's it's a tough one.
it is, but he does recognize because it's about essentially a guy from our time who's like middleman, kind of like middle intelligence, kind of average intelligence of our time.
I'd
But
like to think
goes,
he's possibly me if I hope that I am at least average intelligence right now.
yeah, exactly. Like he's meant to be like an average guy in our time, and then he gets frozen and moved into their time, which means that he's the smartest man in the world.
Yeah,
And Dwayne Elzondo
Mountain Dew
Mountain Dew Herbert
Herbert.
recognizes that and asks him to become Secretary of State to try help all of their problems that are happening in their country. So I have to give him a little bit of credit that he recognizes that he needs essentially a nerd. I say nerd,
Yeah,
in their time. To help out with their problems, so he recognizes that they can't fix their problems, which is like very
that
presidential of him.
now okay. So we're going to be going through a lot of presidents who face a lot of things, extinction level events, and I'm going to
Hmm.
go ahead and say that President Camacho, because I can't use the full name every time, we've only got so much time in the episode. President Camacho was in charge of a country, nay, a planet that was heading towards extinction because they couldn't get crops to grow. And you're right, he recognized that the best thing to do would be to use the smartest person alive to fix the problems. Now, I think that's about as far as we can go with crediting him with
That's it.
anything. Yeah. So does that make him S tier? I would say that it definitely puts him in the B or above tier. Um, I'm going to make my vote that he's A tier because I just love the guy, and anybody who's able to not only find a way to save the country, save the planet, but also has the resume and the fashion sense that he has, along with Terry Crews's natural charisma. I'm putting him right up there. I'm going into the A's. Where are you thinking? A, B?
I think, yeah, I think, yeah, I'll go with A with you,
Oh,
kind
excellent.
of thing. Like that's great.
Anybody thinks that's too high or too low? Like, let us know in the comments below.
I think he's a fun president.
And he has the ability to control his cabinet, what with his use of machine guns and all. I do particularly love that his start to a speech was quite literally on a teleprompter as the word shit, which I thought was just a great opening moment for capturing everybody's attention.
Yeah, the State of the Union address was that.
Exactly. It's the one thing, a lot of people compare this to real life one way or the other. It's the one thing I would love to see happen in actual real life from that movie. Somebody just start by going, shit. Okay, so who can possibly compete with Presidente Camacho there? Paul, I think we're starting off with some seriously strong contenders. Because I'm going with Bill Pullman, Independence Day. I'm just going to double check my notes. He was President Thomas J. Whitmore.
Yeah. He's in Independence Day and Independence Day 2.
Yes, actually, that's right. He got more than one film to show now. If they made an Independence Day 3, spoiler alert, he wouldn't be in it. So most of my suggesting that he's going to be in the higher tier is from the first movie. Because they severely damaged the character in the second movie, to be fair.
I think they damaged all characters in the second movie.
I think they damaged cinema. I think they damaged cinema with Independence Day Resurrection or whatever it was called. A Resurgence or Reattack or whatever.
They're back. The call is coming from inside the house. Independence Day is about an alien invasion during Independence Day. So, President Whitmore is in charge at that time for America.
I'm going to say he's our first S tier, and here's my arguments for why.
Okay.
What's he facing? Global extinction. Like
Yes.
That's it. Like this is end game. They've come to take everybody away. So stakes not higher than that. He's cool headed. He listens to people around him. But also, and this shows my bias for the 4-year-old in me, he's a fighter pilot. And when the time came, not only did he do the president thing of the big cool speech, today is our Independence Day, and looked all sad while doing it as only Bill Pullman can, but he also then was like, hold my coat. I've got to get up there and shoot stuff at them too. Like, every box checked. I don't know what his domestic policy would be in non-wartime because the movie doesn't show us that. So we're only measuring them by the actions that we get to see. And I say that man is S tier, not only because of how big a challenge he faced, but how he faced it.
I have to agree.
Excellent.
Like, so I just want to put it. He doesn't have a great confidence poll at the start of the movie. They talk about that on the news channel. They're just like, oh, he's the only thing that makes him in any way kind of like heroic is that he used to be a fighter pilot, and then they show the picture of him getting in a plane.
Yeah, it's a great insult to say to somebody, he used to be a fighter pilot. It's like, yeah, damn right, I'll take that. Used to be a fighter pilot. Always sounds good.
So yeah, if Idiocracy, if Herbert essentially listens to a smart person, Whitmore definitely listens to a smart person, as advisors and everything like that. He leads from the front. That's the most important. He understands that there's a plight. He understands that there's difficulties, but he's not going to shy away from being also there in the front lines as well, because he knows that that's what it's going to take. Because they need fighter pilots. They can't, they need them. So he's not, even though he's the president, he's not going to be like, bad knee, can't get in a plane, bad knee. He's immediately just like, nope, sorry, I'm getting in a plane. And everyone's just like, whoa, you're the president. You're not meant to be. And he's just like, nope, I'm meant to be in the air. So great leader.
And number one thing, he succeeds, saves the planet, and cooperates with people in other countries and helps save the whole planet as part of one big international community, which is what I would hope would happen if aliens showed up. and that we weren't all trying to protect ourselves, particularly because we're in Ireland and we're like this big. So we'll need people to help us out, is all I'm saying. Otherwise, we're throwing potatoes at the aliens.
If we keep really quiet, maybe they won't notice us.
We tried that in a few wars up until now, and that's our weird history. Anybody wants to look up Ireland, it's complicated. Yeah, so Paul, I think big task, big success. Also, went up there and shot, Fox 5, shot some rockets at the aliens himself. Doesn't get cooler than that. Also, Brian in the comments, Pullman is top tier. That's all you need. Pullman is top tier. I love it. So on to the next one, Paul.
Just to mention, Stephen Colbert, president from Monsters vs. Aliens. Just to mention, there's no animated movies in this because otherwise, Wally's.
Our list was getting very big, so
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
but Wally's president would have been a contender.
he would have been terrible. He would have been a D.
I'm trying to remember. Well, I
leaves the
know how
planet.
things worked out, but I'm trying to remember. Oh, right. I haven't seen Wally. in like
He
15
lies.
years.
He lies to everybody. He's just like, oh, the planet will help itself and get back to health, and then they're just like, all right, everybody, let's just leave. It's gonna be junk.
A politician that lies. Only in fiction, everybody. Only in fiction. But now somebody who could never lie to you. The man who played God, but also played a president, Morgan Freeman. And I was going to try and do a Morgan Freeman there, and I realized I don't have a Morgan Freeman. I don't think I have a Morgan Freeman.
No.
Deep
I
Impact,
don't.
extinction level event. What are you going to say, Paul? Because he was facing again something that could finish the whole thing off.
Yeah, so this is another kind of extinction level event. So he's gonna be either he's gonna be the lowest tier, or depending on how he handles it, the highest tier. Which I will say that he did well in this one. He kept everybody calm and clear, and he's a decent president during this time.
He is. But he also kept information from the public for a very long time.
Yeah.
Which I think doesn't count against him. Because I think in that situation, rather than having worldwide panic, he took a lot on his shoulders and went out and gave great speeches with a great voice.
He kept he kept a lot of things for people, which some people will probably say is bad, but in the circumstances, it does keep everything ticking over, which they need to do as they kind of like put their plans into place. Because it'd be very strange if they were just like, well, it wouldn't be strange. It would be just very kind of bad if they were just like, all right, okay, so we're all going to die, but we're building a bunker. We're building a few bunkers. Not everybody can come. Oh, you're rioting? Oh, I didn't see that coming. Kind of thing. Well, but we're building a spaceship. Oh, okay. So none of the convoys for any of the materials can get through. Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, in fairness, we've got to bring that elephant in the room up when ranking him now. So he did save a lot of people. He didn't save everybody. So can you be S tier? Is it situational? Because did he do as good as he could with what he was faced?
I think he did.
Okay.
Because like the thing is that if we because President Whitmore didn't save everybody either.
Very fair point. And architecturally alone, he let a lot of very big scale models explode. I mean, a lot of landmarks explode.
This is but this is the thing. So I would say that he's either A or S tier, and like because he like was part of the strategic kind of decision making, kind of a little bit more than probably Whitmore was.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was proactive, whereas Whitmore felt like more kind of reactive. I guess is probably the best way to describe it.
Fair point.
So I would say that, A or S tier for me.
I'm going to give him A and a little bump. How about that? So A and a wee bump into S. And the reason that I'm kind of saying, well, I'm going to say let's not go full S. Number one, Brian in the comments, Morgan F is A tier. His character's name was President Tom Beck.
Tom Beck, yeah.
But the reason that doesn't matter is because the number one thing he has going for him is before and after the event and survival, you have Morgan Freeman being the voice to give those great speeches. And what's going to make you feel better or in better hands than Morgan Freeman's voice? Like it's what you want. It's what the world needs. So if anything really really bad's going to happen, let's make sure it happens soon, so Morgan can get on TV and be like, "I'm reading this on behalf of whoever's in charge because my voice is the one you want to hear."
If he can give the ending speech of Deep Impact, possibly in 4 years, that would be amazing. But
We're
but
avoiding
that's
real world politics as much as we can.
but I would say the deep like President Beck and President Whitmore, fantastic speech givers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
inspiring, like great speech writers.
And actually, just in case anybody's wondering where the TV presidents are, that was one of the other things that we had to rule out, because obviously you're looking at Martin Sheen and The West Wing, and for me also, Battlestar Galactica had one of the all-time great TV presidents, but we're keeping them out. So where they would fit on this, you can go and watch a video from about 5 years ago where we actually put some TV and movie presidents head to head. But Paul, keeping this train a rolling, we've got a lot of high ones. I think we might start seeing some dips now. One of my favorite movies of all time, Doctor Strangelove, and I'm not going to give the full title because it's too movie nerd cliche to give it the whole How I Learned to Love the Bomb, etc.
Yeah,
Peter Sellers, for me, childhood hero as far as comedy goes. Absolutely loved him. I was of the right age to catch his career while it was still in flight. It was the second half of his career. But my God, is there a better movie president moment than Peter Sellers in the War Room with other Peter Sellerses? And the president that he plays is such a weak glass of water in so many ways. That phone call, the reason that picture, I love that picture. It's like, no, but Sergey, no, we didn't mean to. No, now come on. And it's the least inspiring president that you can imagine.
yeah, he's not a great one. Like, he constantly gets pushed around by his own people.
Yes.
He constantly gets pushed around by. He's not an inspiring president in any kind of fashion. He doesn't seem like he's good in a crisis. He's funny. I'll give him that.
Yes.
But not intentionally. So
If we were ranking this on fictional movie presidents who had the best lines in the movies that they were in, he would be S tier and beyond.
oh yeah, no,
Because, gentlemen, there is no fighting in the war room.
that is yeah.
But as far as an actual president for what was going on, number one, it all happened and started going wrong on his watch. Like you say, he was pushed around in circles by a brilliant, crazy cast of characters who, were all looking after their own precious bodily fluids. Little Strangelove jokes in here for everybody. But
Not a lot of people are getting them.
No,
I'm loving them, but not like
I
I'm
know,
hoping.
everybody do yourself a favor. Go back and watch Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah.
Crying out loud. The amount of people who are like, what? I've heard of that movie. I've never watched it. Watch it. It is cinema genius.
If you remember the scene, you'll probably hear one of the greatest scenes in movie history is a cowboy riding a bomb, falling from the sky.
Yeah.
That is from this movie. That's where you've seen that clip.
And that
from
actor's name was Slim Pickens. So not only was there a cowboy riding a bomb, but it's one of my favorite stage names of all time, Slim Pickens. I'm gonna have to say this is C into D, if not just straight to D, Paul.
Straight to D.
It all did just fall apart. There was no salvation here. So
He loses control of his own, he loses control of everything.
he, most importantly, he lets a fight break out in the war room. Damn it.
No fighting in the war room.
It is one of the great. It's one of Sellers' great performances. There are other performances in that room with him that steal it, but the more you watch the movie, the more the president is actually one of his true greats. Okay,
I do think just to go on to that, I think that's also part of that acting is that there's other people in the room that steal the scenes and stuff like that. I feel like that's an intentional
Yep.
kind of like choice that they've made, which is great.
It's brilliant, genuinely brilliant. Now I've got to go and watch Strangelove after this. Afro Orangutan says there's a Doctor Strangelove play written by Armando Iannucci coming to Ireland next year, and I am going to it. I did not know about it. I was not aware of it till this moment, but I 100% guarantee you I will be there. If everybody in the comments wants to get together and we can go on the same night, that'll be great. Because I love Armando Iannucci. I love his take on politics, and my gosh, Doctor Strangelove by him. Oh, now, why are we continuing this episode? I want to go Google that. Paul, you take over. I'm away. Bye.
Oh.
Okay, rolling on to Mars Attacks.
Okay.
Jack Nicholson, he had to play a president at some stage.
Yes, he did. He had to play a president that's very much like Richard.
Richard Dixon.
Richard. Yeah.
Yeah, Tricky Dicky. What do you make of his presidential run? Because obviously it's in the title, Mars Attacks. The Martians attack, and the hilarity ensues, but so does a lot of death.
Yeah, he seems. Yeah, his presidency is not great.
He's an asshole.
That's the thing. So him as a president, he's not great because he very much is he's a very much I guess egotistical kind of character, believing that he is essentially that, like, you know, I think he gets caught up in the moment of first contact is probably one of the best things, that he's the president during first contact of another species, and doesn't realize that, like, you know, maybe it would have been a good idea to, like, you know,
read the briefing,
do some other stuff, kind of thing. So he's not great.
He's a narcissist. Played by somebody who everybody assumes is a narcissist, although I think that's just Jack Nicholson being a brilliant actor for all those years. He's not a good president. He's not a good... We get to see the president as a person behind the scenes in these movies. He's not a good person. And he thinks he's so schmarmy that he can save himself and the world with some slick talking words. So even his version of a speech in this movie is tainted by the slimebally nature of it all.
He's like the used car salesman of presidents.
There you go. Yeah, go for it.
So, like, yeah, he's a... If anyone has watched Transmetropolitan, he is the Smiler.
Okay.
Probably the...
I have not watched that, but
yeah, that's a very, you know, but yeah, no, he also doesn't survive. Spoilers, which is, and also, like, you know, he pretty much lets pretty much everybody die.
Yeah.
So the fact that he doesn't save the planet, that, like, himself, or is in any way part of the solution.
He's also a sex pest. To use the old terminology. In fact, Paul, I'm going in and I'm going over to the president from Strangelove, and I'm giving him a bump just to make sure that he's slightly higher now. Slightly higher than the new low point, which is Jack from Mars Attacks.
That's probably a good idea.
This is the one that I've kind of been dying to get to. A fictional president, but with a real president's name. Abe Lincoln, vampire hunter. Sorry, Abraham Lincoln. I shouldn't be so glib because he is a vampire hunting emancipator. So, Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter.
Yes.
What the hell?
So this is getting clear. We've decided to use fictional presidents, but we have not in any way limited to fictional presidents with like using history of a real president.
I think it's fair to say that we're assuming there is a certain amount of fantasy to the idea of Abraham Lincoln being a vampire hunter rather than this being a historical document.
It would be, I will say that, you know, it's not impossible that there is some hidden documentation about it.
To chop down a tree and stuff, so the art checks out.
And he wouldn't tell a lie. But he may not tell you the whole truth. So yeah, this is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, or Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. My thing is that I think he's a great president. I think he's a middle tier president, kind of thing.
I thought he was going to get higher simply for the
No.
aforementioned vampire hunting.
I think he's a yeah, but he's like, this is my thing. Okay. He's a vampire hunter with notions. Like,
Oh
shoot-
God, I want that T-shirt.
he's because he's a vampire hunter with notions, because he's like it's not enough that I'm going to save the world by hunting vampires. I'm also going to become president, and it's just like, choose a lane, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, choose a lane.
Yeah,
Okay, that's all I'm asking you.
he's taken on a bit there. All right, he's taken on a bit.
Yeah,
And
it's just
for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's actually worth saying. This is one of those movies that just sounds ridiculous, and it's based. I'm assuming it's based on a graphic novel slash
a
comic
book.
property, right? Okay.
yeah, it's a book. It's like Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
Brilliant.
That kind of series of books. So,
Yeah, I went to the cinema to see this, Paul,
so
like
did I.
way back when, and there was a question being asked at the time of, "Why the hell are you going to see that in the cinema?" I'm like, because that's something. It's, you know, the old phrase, "It's just so crazy that it might work."
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, enjoyable. It's a very enjoyable romp around the place.
It is entertaining.
Yep.
That's all it needs to be.
Yep.
It can either be provoking or entertaining, or both, but that's all it needs to be. And it was entertaining.
It most certainly was. But I'm going to agree with you that he's mid tier somewhere. As much as I'm impressed by Abraham Lincoln, the actual Abraham Lincoln, the vampire hunting part should just be added on. But I think because this fictional person, like you say, didn't pick a lane. So do we know how much he was involved in all of the other good historical things that would be tied to him if he were the real Abe Lincoln? Who knows? Maybe in that universe, the Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter didn't do as good a job being a president because he was too busy staking people.
He's also a moany. He's a moaning person. He constantly moans.
That's true. He was going towards the top of B a minute ago, but you mentioned moan, so now he's down towards the middle bottom
He
of B.
moans a lot in that movie. And you're just like, you're president. Like, I understand that you're president and a vampire hunter during probably one of the most traumatic kind of periods of time in that history, which is obviously the Civil War that involves vampires.
Fair point.
Like, so, but you know, and I get that you'd moan, but you've decided to become the president during this time, so you have like you know, you've decided to do this to yourself.
Yeah, no excuses though, because like Buffy had to deal with prom and whether or not Angel was really in love with her. So like, you know, she didn't moan anywhere near as much as him. So you're right. Next up then, Paul, because I'm going to keep the train moving relatively quickly so we can make sure we get to all of these wonderful presidents.
Mm-hmm.
This next one, oh gosh, I have mixed feelings about Harrison Ford in Air Force One because okay. The entire movie revolves around the idea that he is tough on terrorism. Starts the movie off with a speech saying, you know, that's it, no more compromise. And as soon as he's on an airplane, up shows the always wonderful Gary Oldman saying, well, Mr. Doodad, I'm going to hijack your Air Force One plane here, and I want you to release my favorite boss of Kazakhstan, I think it was. Or I can't remember if they made up a country. I think they might have used Kazakhstan. So sorry, Kazakhstan. Between that and Borat, you're getting hit by all sorts of stuff. He's ex-army. I think he was ex-special forces or something similar. I can't remember which branch.
I think he's got the professional soldier is like, you know, kind of material.
But the weird thing is, like, he does a good job on his airplane, but there's a small amount of it he seems like he's got a bit of an ego, this dude. There's a real sense of President Harrison Ford here is kind of proud of himself, president. He's a little bit, you know, I'm not listening to anybody, I'm going my own way, which seems really cool until you consider he nearly gets everybody on his plane killed and does get quite a few people killed.
He does, yeah. Like he is, like he does take on. He's meant to be the president. He's meant to get into the pod,
Yes.
to save himself.
That's right. I forgot about the pod.
I think I think he put someone else into it.
I can't remember actually.
And I'm not gonna talk like it. But he is meant to be the president. He's meant to get into the pod. He's meant to save himself. Um, but he then he takes on these terrorists, and it's just like, do you understand what's going on? Because if they kill you, it's a big, huge thing. Like,
Yeah,
it's a huge, big thing.
he doesn't
Terrorists
kinda,
kill the president.
he
Like,
doesn't trust his own people, and that can be an issue, you know.
I'll be honest with you, he definitely has reason not to trust his own people.
Good, fair point, but
Like,
but that's
not
not
100.
that's not how these things should or could work, really. But you know what? I'm being hard on him because it's very easy to say that Harrison Ford, you know, when Han Solo and Indiana Jones happens to end up being a president who's amazing at hand-to-hand combat on an airplane and is also like the ultimate hide and seek 747
That is
edition
true,
champion. Like he's just great at hiding. Um, he is pretty cool. So he could go straight to S tier. But I started trying to tear him down to make sure that he didn't quite get there because I'm hoping
no, he's not.
I
He's
want
not
Bill
S.
to be the one up there, you know.
No, he's not S tier. Because if you think about it, so if we're thinking about it, it's not an extinction level event.
Nope. Nope.
So like, it's essentially just some dude some bad dude gets released from prison. If they were just like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll just release the guy from prison, that'll be it. Like, they should, if they kept to their word.
But he doesn't negotiate with terrorists, which
No,
I
he
respect
also-
that as a stance.
But he also doesn't have a really good speech in the film. He only has a really good line in the film.
He actually gave Clint Eastwood an idea like 20 years before. It's like the get off my plane is the get off my lawn of its day. So it really is. It's more than coincidence, I'd say. That line stuck around. Anybody in the comments wants Harrison to move up or down, or President James Marshall?
Yeah.
Air Marshal Jimmy Air Marshal President. Okay, they were kind of on the nose with some of that, accidentally probably. I'm giving him an A to B tier. What do you reckon?
I would say B tier.
Okay.
Because it's a very contained problem.
This is true. And he didn't hunt one vampire, so I'm actually going to slide him down beside Abe Slayer himself. Abe the Vampire Slayer. Okay, sorry, I'm messing with my stuff here. So the next one up, Paul, is Don't Look Up, which had the wonderful Meryl Streep facing yet again something coming from space in the shape of, it was an asteroid.
Yeah. So if this is okay. So this is D tier. I'm just gonna say D tier because if Morgan Freeman and if President Beck and I think President Orlan are essentially suffering from the same issue. They are having an asteroid coming to the planet. They deal with it in very different ways.
She is essentially not helping the situation the whole way through the movie, right? If my memory serves correctly, she's not really helping the situation. She's closer to Jack Nicholson than anybody else that we've discussed so far.
Yeah, her idea is to very much President Orland's is very much to bury her head in the sand, and not kind of don't look up, everybody, and then you won't see the problem, and then nothing will be bad, and then tries to save her her own skin and all of her very rich people friends, kind of thing. So greedy, egotistical, self-importance,
hanging out with the big tech billionaire of the day.
Yep.
I think it's time to move on, Paul, and say that she is pretty low tier. Then we'll just park her in beside Jack. Then
right there beside Jack. Yep.
Right in there. Okay. Yeah, Meryl Streep again. The greater the actor, sometimes the worse the president. It would appear. I will say, God, I was about to cast aspersions on the person we're about to bring up and their acting talent, which would be terrible. Because up now is one Aaron Eckhart playing. Where's my notes on what his
Benjamin
name was?
Asher.
Thank you.
Olympus Has Fallen.
Thank you very much.
Benjamin Asher.
You got to give him credit. You know, he's in competing films with something else that we have to talk about in a moment, White House Down, but he gets to go first. did actually take part in saving his own behind,
Not really.
but a little
He
bit.
does. He does. He's a good, like, he seems like a good president. He seems to be very principled.
Hmm.
He doesn't um he doesn't which is shy away from the hard work, and also from the sacrifice that people need to make in the eyes of what's trying to happen or what's going on, kind of thing. So, like, he's a good president. But him taking an active role is a little, like,
I'm being a little bit generous there, to be fair. That's true.
yes. So I would say that he's a B or a C tier.
I am more than happy with that. If I can find the controls for the images, and I just turned the wrong one off. Okay, so here we go. Fixing it on the fly. I knew there'd be one of them, Paul. What did I tell you? I knew there'd be one, and it was going to be good old Aaron Eckhart.
I think
yeah.
he's a C tier.
I think there's a solid case for C or C. Yeah, C is fair.
C, because this is the thing is my next one.
Oh yeah,
And
let's get straight into it.
This is going to be so. Yeah,
Jamie
White
Foxx,
House down.
White House down.
Jamie Foxx as President Sawyer. Now he takes an active role.
Much more active.
Yeah, so I would say that he's slightly higher than President. Now slightly higher
Yeah, no, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
than
He's
Asher.
he's got some he needs his glasses to shoot his gun, and he's way too obsessed with sneakers once or twice in the movie.
Yes.
But overall, like he does actually try and save his own butt. But again, these are not presidents that were facing extinction level events in
Yep.
any way.
No, they are essentially taken out of the decision-making process through the structure of what's meant to happen.
But
They're
credit to them that I can't give to somebody like Harrison Ford in Air Force One. At least they allow other people who have jobs to do to protect them to actually protect them, rather than dumping a pod with. I don't think there was anybody in that pod in Air Force One. This idea that they work with others to save their behind. But definitely, I think the twin movies of Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down. I'm giving it to my vote is going for President Fox for sure, or President Sawyer as he was, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. So I have to say, here's a movie theory for me. Okay,
Give it.
movie theory. Olympus Has Fallen. President Benjamin Asher is president. I think his vice president, or the Speaker of the House, is Gordon Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Yes, it is. It's Morgan Freeman.
Gordon,
He's
yeah,
the
Morgan
Secretary
Freeman, not
for
Gordon.
State, I think.
Not from Half-Life. Morgan Freeman, yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
I think this is the start of Deep Impact.
Oh my
Because
god!
in London Has Fallen, he's the president.
You should have warned me. I would have had my red string image to connect these together now.
Yeah, because in the second movie, he's a president. And then after that, we Deep Impact, because Angel Has Fallen doesn't exist.
I think with let's say the 3 minutes we have left in this episode, I think that we can connect all of these people chronologically together. And I think it goes back to Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and obviously then into the serious problems of Strangelove. That would be the line of succession. Then I guess Mars Attacks chronologically would be there. Then we're into Air Force One or Deep Impact, which would have been around the right time. So we have to have White House Down, then Deep Impact, then Air Force One, then maybe Aaron Eckhart. Obviously, building all the way up to the final president in our list. If all this was one big multiverse, it would be President Camacho sometime in the future. Almost worked.
Yeah.
There you go.
That makes sense.
So, President number 174, or I can't remember what year it's set in, but it's a long way in the future.
It's like 300 years in the future, or 800 years.
Oh gosh, somebody do the math. President with 3 digits anyway. So Paul, I think the rankings show it. You face a big challenge, you have a better chance of being ranked highly. But if you can give a good speech, like look at that top cluster of Bill Pullman in Independence Day and President Camacho in Idiocracy and Morgan Freeman, let's face it. A big speech in your movie helps you be a likable president. Also, actually saving the world rather than just saving your own ass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, actually, like, because you were saying that, like, if you a big extinction level events put you higher. Mars Attacks and Don't Look Up are big extinction events, but those presidents sucked.
There
So,
you go.
like,
There you go. So nil points for them. Zero votes from this constituency or however it works. Paul, my favorite president still, I will be completely honest. It's back to Doctor Strangelove. If you're going to go back and watch any one of these movies, if you haven't seen them, Strangelove's the one to go for. Probably followed by Idiocracy. And then, weirdly, bringing up third place for me would be, of most unseen, Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Watch it, folks. Watch it.
it sneaks up on you. It sneaks up on you. Because I was the one who suggested Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and it sneaked up on Patrick where he was just like, all right, okay, I'll allow this. And as we were talking more and more, it's just like, actually, this is pretty fun.
Never once considered taking that off the list. Once it went on
No.
and we were, looking for space, never once considered that. Like, Don't Look Up was considered for removal just because, how I have some issues with that movie. Obviously, a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. But again, terrible presidents. But you kind of have to have them in there too to round out the group.
Yeah, we had a few other ones, but they weren't really kind of the main, like one of the main focuses kind of thing. So we decided not to put them up there because, like, there was Escape from LA and Escape from New York presidents,
Yes.
but they don't really exist
No, well,
in the movie.
Snake is your star there, Mr. Which I saw somebody dressed up. By the way, shout out to somebody in Dublin before Halloween who was dressed up as Snake Plissken, really, really well, standing there waiting for a bus. And I wish I'd been able to take a picture quicker.
Were they dressed up as Snake Plissken, or were they dressed up as Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid?
Oh no, it was definitely
Okay,
Escape from,
good.
and it was Escape from New York, as opposed to the later Escape from LA version too. So
Yeah, there's a lot more leather in Escape for LA, isn't there?
it was the 90s, it was a different time, Paul.
That is true.
All right, I've had a bit of fun. The people in the comments, if we have gotten this right or wrong, you let us know. I hope somebody out there watches this and gets some relief from the non-stop onslaught of TV, YouTube, and all other forms of media talking about presidents. If this has hopefully been a small ray of weirdness in your day, then feel free to give us a like and a subscribe. I'd love it if a few more people saw this video and maybe had a giggle along the way too. So share it out to your friends if you so desire.
Also, let us know what your ranking of these presidents are in the comments down below, and if there's any other movie presidents that you want us to see on the list as well. We'll comment where they fit in the tier list.
Absolutely, we can do updates in the comments below. And with that, Paul, I would like to just say, my fellow YouTubians, we want to be a channel for everybody. So really do join us next week and see what other crazy stuff we come up with. Paul, I've been Patrick.
I've been Paul.
We've been Heroes Out. Vote early, vote often, or whatever the hell they say. Bye, everybody.
See you later.